Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Renegade Immortal based on novel. So let's start. Ju Yu's journey to find Uncle continued. She had no idea why Uncle left, so she wanted to find Wang Lin and ask him for the reason. At this moment, Wang Lin was on top of a mountain with all of the celestial jades he owned on the ground around him. While sitting in the middle of the circle, he put aside all other thoughts in his mind and concentrated on cultivating. The current Wang Lin's cultivation level had reached the peak of the soul formation stage, and his domain had reached completion, so now he needed to break through to the soul transformation stage. The soul transformation stage is a goal all cultivators pursue. Once they reach the soul transformation stage, their domains can materialize, causing its power to reach an unimaginable degree. Aside from that, they will be able to absorb celestial spiritual energy. This means that all of their techniques and spells will contain celestial spiritual energy, making them infinitely more powerful. In ancient times, before the celestial realm collapsed, a soul transformation cultivator wasn't a rare sight. However, now that the celestial realm has collapsed, a soul transformation cultivator is a powerhouse. The key to breaking through from the soul formation stage to the soul transformation stage is the amount of celestial jades. The more celestial jades there are, the more dense the celestial spiritual energy will be, and therefore the chance of breaking through to the soul transformation will be higher. Of course, one's domain plays a large role in reaching the soul transformation stage as well. If one's domain doesn't reach completion, then that person will have no hopes of ever reaching the soul transformation stage. Comprehension of the laws of the heavens is of great importance for a soul transformation cultivator. Wang Lin's comprehension of the heavens' law was different from others. After seeing that the heavens messenger was an ancient god, he developed a hint of doubt. What is the heavens' law? Wang Lin's earlier understanding was that the heavens' law was a natural law that has always existed, like the law of destruction. No one can replace the heavens' law. Cultivators merely go against the heavens' law and break free from it. No one thinks that they can replace or control the heavens' law. However, after Wang Lin saw the ancient god, his understanding of the heavens' law underwent a subtle change. There was a mystery before him, but with his current understanding, he couldn't comprehend all of it. Heaven's law, interesting. Wang Lin's eyes sparkled. He took a deep breath and opened all the pores in his body to absorb the celestial spiritual energy from the celestial jades around him. When Wang Lin went to the celestial realm, he was able to obtain quite a few celestial jades. These celestial jades became the driving force for Wang Lin to reach the soul transformation stage. At this moment, a powerful surge of celestial spiritual energy entered Wang Lin's body. Compared to the last few times he absorbed celestial spiritual energy, it was a lot less painful this time. The celestial spiritual energy surged into him and suppressed the spiritual energy in his body. The two different forces were like fire and water as they began a life and death battle in his body. Wang Lin's body had a lot of spiritual energy, so at first, when only a bit of celestial spiritual energy entered his body, it was immediately beaten back. However, as time passed and more celestial spiritual energy entered his body, the spiritual energy could no longer hold the celestial spiritual energy back. Although there was still much more spiritual energy than celestial spiritual energy, the difference in quality was too high. A strand of celestial spiritual energy was equal to all of the spiritual energy of a core formation cultivator. As a result, the spiritual energy was naturally pushed back. When a soul formation cultivator becomes a soul transformation cultivator, their spiritual energy will go through one of two types of changes. The first one is all the spiritual energy is pushed out of one's body, and then, when it contains only celestial spiritual energy, the body transformations and breaks through to the soul transformation. This method is relatively easy, and it's what most cultivators choose to do. However, all of that spiritual energy is wasted and will have to be cultivated back. Also, their cultivation at the early stage of soul transformation ends up being unstable. This method also requires a cultivator to go into closed-door cultivation for 100 years to adjust their body. The second method is to refine the spiritual energy in one's body until it reaches the same quality as celestial spiritual energy. This method is very difficult, as the spiritual energy needs to be refined constantly. But once it succeeds, it gives one a great advantage during the early stage of soul transformation. One won't need to go into closed-door cultivation for 100 years, and they will still have the same result. The advantage of the second method is to save 100 years of closed-door cultivation, and naturally this increases cultivation speed by a lot. Wang Lin chose the second method. After all, he didn't have the time to go into 100 years of closed-door cultivation. The spiritual energy in his body was being compressed by the celestial spiritual energy. The compressed spiritual energy then slowly gathered at this dantian. Next, celestial spiritual energy would course through the veins around his dantian. This was a process of transformation. The celestial spiritual energy was like a mill grinding the spiritual energy inside Wang Lin's body to refine it to the point that it could fuse with the celestial spiritual energy. This process was very slow. In the blink of an eye, 3 months had passed. Wang Lin still hadn't moved. 2/3 of the celestial jades around him had turned grey, and some of them had already shattered. Not enough, Wang Lin's eyes suddenly opened. There seemed to be celestial spiritual energy moving inside his eyes. Right now he looked like a celestial. Although the amount of celestial jades Wang Lin had couldn't compare to what the big sects had, it was still a lot. But looking at it now, it was far from enough to reach the soul transformation stage. He had only gone through 1% of the transformation, and the spiritual energy in his body was only compressed, but hadn't fused yet. Wang Lin muttered to himself, no wonder there are so few soul transformation cultivators. The amount of celestial jades needed to reach the soul transformation stage is something even some big sects can't handle. No wonder. The giant demon clan ancestor used resources from the entire clan, and all of the celestial jades Kai, who had brought back to finally reach the soul transformation stage. This only succeeded because the giant demon clan also had a large stock of celestial jades from when their clan moved to planet Suzaku. In truth, the giant demon clan ancestor could have reached the soul transformation stage a long time ago, but they simply didn't have enough celestial jades. So it was delayed until recently. It has to be said that celestial jades aren't solely used for breaking through the soul formation stage to the soul transformation stage. Once a cultivator is above the soul transformation stage, they need celestial jades to fight, to heal, and even to refine treasures. Rumor has it that the number of celestial jades required to reach the ascendant stage is tens of thousands of times greater than the amount needed to reach the soul transformation stage. Then for the level above that, the amount is just unimaginable. The only place to get celestial jades is the celestial realm. After the celestial realm collapsed, the celestial veins disappeared, causing the amount of celestial jades to be very limited. Thus, one can easily imagine the value of a celestial jade. In the current cultivation world, the more time passes, the fewer high-level cultivators there will be, as it's getting harder to find the resources to cultivate. 1 month later, all of Wang Lin's celestial jades had shattered and there wasn't any more celestial spiritual energy left. He had to stop his absorption. The pagoda has a lot of celestial spiritual energy, but since I promised Ju Yi that I would protect the celestial corpse, I can't have any ideas about the pagoda. Wang Lin stood up and looked into the distance. His divine sense spread out and covered most of the moon. After completing 1% of the conversion, his divine sense was also stronger. The soul refining sect must have a lot of celestial jades saved up. The other sects almost certainly have some as well. I can't ask, so I'll have to steal them. I must reach the soul transformation stage. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and then his body disappeared. Ju Yu was spiritless. While riding on Little White's back, she looked at the vast plain before her. Leaving me all alone here while he went to do God knows what, it's so infuriating. Ju Yu held a fruit in her hand and took a big bite. Little Yu, A familiar voice entered Ju Yu's ears. She was startled and immediately turned around. Behind her, Wang Lin's familiar figure slowly appeared. Uncle. Ju Yu's face was filled with joy as she jumped off Little White. In a few steps, She arrived before Wang Lin and jumped into his arms. Zhu Yu was no longer a little girl, the current her was already 20 years old. Uncle, where did you go? You left me all by myself. Zhu Yu's eyes turned red. In Wang Lin's eyes, she was still a child. He gently patted her head, and his eyes contained a hint of complex emotion as he smiled. Uncle went out to deal with some matters and now I'm finished. Little Yu, do you miss your parents? I'll take you home. Zhu Yu wiped away her tears and happily said, we're going to leave. Okay. Wang Lin looked at Zhu Yu. He personally watched this child grow up, just like Da Nyo. He slapped his bag of holding and the pagoda flew out and landed on the side. After Zhu Yu saw the pagoda, she pouted and said, Uncle, I remember when I was little I almost starved to death inside the pagoda. Wang Lin waved his right hand and a large amount of fruits from the moon filled the pagoda. After Zhu Yu and Little White entered the pagoda, Wang Lin looked toward the sky. A black dot slowly got bigger and bigger until it was revealed to be the mosquito beast. It let out a roar as it landed before Wang Lin with joy in its eyes. Its large mouth licked Wang Lin all over. It clearly missed Wang Lin a lot. Let's go, we are going home. Wang Lin patted the mosquito beast before jumping on its back. The mosquito beast let out a roar, and then it charged into the sky. In the void, Wang Lin took out the star compass and put away the mosquito beast as he flew toward planet Suzaku. Celestial jades. I need celestial jades. Wang Lin's eyes sparkled as the star compass flew toward planet Suzaku like lightning. The moon was never far from planet Suzaku, so after only half a month, planet Suzaku was already before Wang Lin. What's this? Wang Lin frowned after scanning planet Suzaku. He could feel a powerful aura from the planet. This aura came from a giant plant made of black fog. This is the Forsaken Immortal Clan. Wang Lin's eyes became cold as he charged into planet Suzaku like a meteor. Breaking through the atmosphere of the planet, the star compass descended as fast as lightning. He saw about 10 cultivators in life and death battles not far away, and he knew one of them. Wang Zhuo. Wang Lin's eyes became serious as he charged over like lightning. Although Wang Zhuo's appearance was that of an old man, Wang Lin was still able to recognize him at a glance. Wang Zhuo's heart was filled with sorrow. Along the way, more than half of their group of a dozen had died. He had gone through these kinds of battles almost every day, and he felt the shadow of death getting darker and darker. The surrounding countries had all lost. They were either destroyed or became vassals of the Forsaken Immortal Clan. Rank 3 cultivation countries weren't the main battleground for the Forsaken Immortal Clan, they were merely places for them to train their weaker clan members. The country of Suzaku didn't care too much about rank 3 cultivation countries. At first they only sent some early-stage soul formation cultivators over, but as the war raged on, they pulled out all their messengers and completely gave up on the rank 3 cultivation countries. In the eyes of the country of Suzaku, nascent soul cultivators were simply too weak. Wang Lin let out a bitter smile as he watched another fellow sect member die. He watched the 4 Forsaken Immortal Clan members, who clearly had the power of late-stage core formation cultivators, not kill them, but instead chase them around. Just at this moment, a meteor raced across from the sky, giving off a terrifying aura. The 4 Forsaken Immortal Clan members were shocked and immediately looked over. In almost an instant, the meteor disappeared and someone with long, white hair arrived from the distance with only a few steps. The 4 Forsaken Immortal Clan members' expressions changed. The 4 of them realized that this man, with white hair, gave off an aura that made them tremble. They only ever felt this kind of aura from the 7-leaf shamans in their clan. Soul transformation, one of the 4 Forsaken Clan members trembled and exclaimed. Without any hesitation, he turned around and ran. The other 3 quickly followed him. Wang Lin's eyes were cold as he slapped his bag of holding to let the mosquito beast out. The mosquito didn't even wait for an order before charging out after the 4. Screams could be heard from the distance as the 4 of them became dinner for the mosquito. All of this happened too fast, so fast that Wang Zhuo and company were completely dumbfounded. Wang Lin turned around toward Wang Zhuo and smiled. Wang Zhuo, do you recognize me? Senior, it's you. Wang Zhuo was startled and immediately recognized Wang Lin as the person who had reached the soul formation stage at Hengyu Mountain. Wang Lin shook his head and said, we haven't met for many years, and you have already reached the late stage of core formation. That is worthy of celebration. Forget it, I'll help you break through to the nascent soul stage. With that, Wang Lin pointed to the spot between Wang Zhuo's eyebrows. The seal in Wang Zhuo's mind was removed as all the memories of his past life flooded into him, causing him to pass out. Wang Lin blandly looked at Wang Zhuo's fellow sect members. All of them, but one, were at the early stage of core formation, while the last person was at the mid-stage. That person also had one of the spirit seeds Wang Lin had left behind. Wang Lin asked, where are you guys going? The person who had the spirit seed was an old man. His body trembled as Wang Lin looked at him and he said, about 10 of us juniors were sent to the country of Lin to help them. However, they lost to the Forsaken Immortal clan, so we are killing our way back to Zhao. Wang Lin slapped his bag of holding. A jade flew out and he injected a bit of his domain inside it. He threw the jade to the old man and said, take this jade. It can keep you guys safe until you reach Zhao. Go. The old man held the jade like a treasure and bowed many times toward Wang Lin. To him, this jade was his life. Wang Lin waved his right hand to grab Wang Zhuo, and then they disappeared. The old man took a deep breath, and then bowed deeply toward where Wang Lin had disappeared to. This bow was in good faith, without any other thoughts. A middle-aged burly man on the side carefully asked, Martial Uncle, who is that senior? The old man's eyes were filled with reminiscence as he said, he is my country of Zhao's only soul formation cultivator. Soul formation cultivator, he is someone from Zhao. The middle-aged man took a deep breath. You should have heard of his name before. The old man flew away and the other members of his sect quickly followed. Wang Lin. His name is Wang Lin. The moment the words Wang Lin came out, everyone else, including the burly man, trembled and their eyes became filled with terror. In the cultivation world of Zhao, the name Wang Lin represented heaven-piercing killing intent and a world-ending catastrophe. On that day, blood flowed like a river and the land of Zhao was dyed red from blood. No one could forget that day. Even to this day, the calamity the Ting family faced was still passed down in Zhao's cultivation world. It forever remained in people's hearts, and became the goal of many young cultivators. On the top of a mountain, Wang Zhuo slowly awakened. His eyes were filled with confusion at first, but it slowly disappeared. Then he calmly looked at the white figure standing beside him. Wang Lin, a bitter voice came from Wang Zhuo. Wang Zhuo. Wang Lin turned around and smiled. Wang Zhuo stared at Wang Lin as memories of the past rushed into his head, until the moment where his wife died by his hand, then he let out a sigh. Thank you. Wang Lin shook his head and said, only you and I are left from the old Wang clan. There is no need to thank me. Wang Zhuo hesitated a bit then asked, what cultivation level are you at? Could you have reached the soul transformation stage? I haven't reached the soul transformation stage just yet. Wang Lin looked into the distance. Time passed by so quickly. I still remember us at the Hengyu sect, alas, Wang Zhuo sighed. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he asked, Wang Zhuo, what happened on planet Suzaku in the last several years? How did the Forsaken Immortal clan appear here? Wang Zhuo was startled and asked, you don't know? Wang Lin shook his head. I wasn't on planet Suzaku for the last 7 years. Wang Zhuo's heart shook. Although Wang Lin had casually said it, it sounded insane to him. Not on planet Suzaku. That meant that Wang Lin's cultivation could break through the atmosphere. Wang Zhuo took a deep breath and told Wang Lin everything he knew. Wang Lin's expression remained calm, but his heart was in turmoil. The Forsaken Immortal clan had invaded and almost all rank 3 cultivation countries had fallen. Rank 4 cultivation countries weren't safe either. The country of Suzaku was resisting in full force, but they were still being pushed back. The Corpse sect was helping the Forsaken Immortal clan in full force, and 5 rank 4 cultivation countries had betrayed Suzaku. The Forsaken Immortal clan had already occupied half of planet Suzaku. Wangjua said, "Rumor has it that the Forsaken Immortal clan sent out 9 people, and 5 of their identities have already been exposed. There are still 4 left, but no one knows who they are. They must be at a rank 5 or higher cultivation countries and probably hold very high positions." Wang Lin pondered. He never thought that in just a few short years such a big change would occur. Soul Refining Sect. Wang Lin took a deep breath. He had to quickly return to the Soul Refining Sect to see if there were any changes there. Wangjua's information was mostly rumors and not facts, so he didn't know anything about the Soul Refining Sect. Wangjua pondered a bit and slowly asked, "Wang Lin, can you go back to Zhao and save it from danger? Also, our Wang family still has descendants living in Zhao. In these past several years, I have been secretly taking care of them. I was hoping that mortals wouldn't get mixed up in the war, but while I was away, I heard that the Forsaken Immortal clan was looking for mortals with spirit roots. I'm worried that the Wang family might have a child with a spirit root who will catch the Immortal Forsaken clan's attention. Sadly, I haven't been home in many years, so I don't know if there is anyone like that in the family." Planet Suzaku, country of Zhao, a rainy night. A horse carriage was galloping away outside the capital of Zhao. A bold, burly man sat at the front of the carriage and snapped his whip. "Ya. He looked very anxious and kept looking behind him. As the horses felt pain from the whip, they let out neighs and ran even faster. "Mother, where are we going?" The tender voice of a child came from inside the carriage. "Mother will take you to our ancestral home. Only there will you be safe," a gentle and enchanting voice answered the child from inside the carriage. This voice also contained a hint of anxiety. The child named Yua continued to say, "Mother, I was studying with the 3rd prince yesterday, and he told me that Zhao is very dangerous right now. It seems like someone is fighting with those immortals." "Mother, is it like that?" "Yua, take a rest. Don't ask so many questions." A man's deep voice came from inside the carriage. There were 3 people inside the carriage, a couple and their child. The woman was wearing a court dress. She was very beautiful, and the beauty spot at the corner of her mouth gave her even more charm. The man's robe was made of python skin. He gave off an oppressing aura without even being angry. He had been in a high position for a very long time, so he gained a certain aura. As for the child, she looked to be around 6 or 7 years old, her cheeks were slightly pink, and her skin was very white. She was very cute. The inside of the carriage suddenly became very quiet. The only sound that could be heard was the driver shouting and the sound of the rain. Yua obediently nodded. She felt tired, so she slowly fell asleep in the woman's arms. "My lord, Yua," the woman's eyes turned red and couldn't continue. The man let out a sigh and slowly said, "All of the immortals in the capital have returned to their sects to prepare for battle. The invaders are very powerful, and as far as I know, the immortals of Zhao were defeated and have gathered in one place." The woman wiped the tears from the corner of her eyes and whispered, "Why are those people looking everywhere for children?" The man took a deep breath and bitterly smiled. "Last night, I secretly talked with the king and found that they are looking for children with the qualifications to become immortals. I'm afraid that they have something big planned. Alas, if only great-grandfather was here, everything would be better." The woman's eyes lit up as she said, "Great-grandfather is an odd person, even the other immortals in the capital have to be respectful to him. Sadly, we can't find him. I'm afraid great-grandfather doesn't have time to bother with us. His sect has probably been attacked by those invaders too. Now the only hope left is the ancestral home." The man sighed as his gaze fell on the child. Inside the capital, 3 children had already been taken away by the invaders. Whether they were alive or dead was uncertain. Yua was the 4th, and this man had done everything he could to save his child. The woman looked at the sleeping child and whispered, "My lord, what is so special about the ancestral home?" The man pondered for a bit before shaking his head and saying, "I don't know what is so special about it. Only that an immortal ancestor once left a message saying that if my Wang family faces great calamity, come to the ancestral home and smear the family blood on something. I was told that doing so could save our lives. The woman was startled. She had been married to him for many years, but had never heard of this. It was said that, before my Wang family entered the capital, an immortal countless times more powerful than great-grandfather appeared. No one could stop him. The ancestral home has something he left behind. The man's eyes lit up. Even stronger than great-grandfather, the woman's eyes were filled with disbelief as she asked, "Is that immortal ancestor still alive?" The man pondered a bit and uncertainly said, "Great-grandfather has lived for over 200 years. The immortal ancestor should be able to live even longer, so he should still be alive." The woman's eyes lit up and she quickly said, "If that immortal ancestor can help us, then you will be safe." The man shook his head and bitterly smiled. "It is only a rumor. No one knows whether it is true or false." However, the man pondered. The woman quickly asked, "What is it?" "The records of my Wang family state that 200 years ago, there was a powerful family that existed in both the mortal and the immortal worlds of Zhao. That family was named Ting. The Ting family was so powerful that all the immortals had to take orders from them and the kings of the mortal world had to bow to them. The Ting family was the mortal enemy of my Wang family." The man's voice echoed in the carriage. Then, overnight, the Ting family was wiped out, all of their family members were killed. It is rumored that the person that wiped them out was that immortal ancestor. The carriage moved very quickly, and 3 days later they arrived at a manor. This manor was not very large. 200 years ago, it was still part of a village before it was bought by the Wang family. It still remained the same as 200 years ago. After the carriage stopped, the bald, burly man jumped off the carriage with a tired expression. He opened the door and respectfully said, "My lord, we have arrived." The man got off the carriage and looked at the manor with a hint of reminiscence in his eyes. "During my childhood, I lived here for 1 year with my father. In the blink of an eye, 30 years have passed, but this place hasn't changed at all." The woman followed him off the carriage. Yua had her big eyes opened as he looked at the manor. "Follow me," the man said with a deep tone and walked forward. There weren't any servants in the manor, only some elderly people. These elders were the most devoted followers of the Wang family. Although they were all white-haired, their eyes were still filled with life. One look from them could cause anyone's heart to tremble. That bald man felt terrified when he saw these elderly people. He felt like any one of them could defeat him in one move. His eyes suddenly locked onto one of the old men. After recognizing the item in his hand, he was startled and immediately recognized who the old man was. This old man was the #1 expert in the martial arts world. The man didn't say a word as he walked deep into the manor. Deep inside was a very normal-looking house. Yua curiously asked, "Dad, is this our ancestral home?" The man nodded. He was about to speak when a thunderous roar came from the distance. Then 2 men with tattoos covering parts of their bodies suddenly appeared above the manor. One of them gloomily looked at the people below him and said, "You guys sure ran fast." The man's expression quickly changed. He quickly got in front of his wife and bitterly said, "Honored immortals, your battles are with the other immortals. Why make it so difficult for us mortals?" The surrounding elders stared at the 2 in the air with eyes like lightning. The one with the gloomy expression coldly looked at the man and reached out. His goal today was the child with the spirit root. Just at this moment, all the surrounding elders let out roars and blocked the man. However, their bodies weren't able to resist, so they all coughed out blood and then were thrown to the side. The man's expression greatly changed. He quickly grabbed his wife and child and dragged them into the ancestral home. After entering the ancestral home, cold sweat covered the man's forehead. His eyes were bloodshot as he quickly pressed a series of tablets, causing a secret compartment to open. He immediately bit his finger and used blood to draw a symbol in the secret compartment. This symbol was something every generation's family head had to carve into their mind when they become the family head. Just at this moment, with a bang, the wall of the ancestral home turned to dust as the gloomy-looking person walked in. The woman got in front of her child with a look of despair on her face. At this moment, the place where the man had drawn the symbol released a mysterious light, and a piece of jade floated out from the secret compartment. A mysterious power quickly surrounded the area. The gloomy-looking person's expression suddenly changed. He revealed a look of disbelief and quickly backed away. His buddy in the air also noticed the mysterious power, and was about to go investigate. But just at this moment, the piece of jade flashed. The gloomy-looking person let out a miserable scream as the vein on his forehead bulged and he quickly backed away. Terror filled his eyes. He could feel a destructive aura coming from the jade. This aura was something even his clan's four-leaf members couldn't resist. But once the jade was activated, the gloomy-looking person had no chance of survival with his cultivation level. The jade flashed once and the gloomy-looking person coughed out blood, as he was pushed out of the ancestral home. He fell to the ground and immediately died. His buddy, who was about to go investigate, suddenly stopped and immediately turned around to escape. He could feel an aura that he stood no chance against coming from inside the house. However, before he got far, the jade flashed once more. He coughed out a large mouthful of blood and fell from the sky, dead. This strange scene caused the three inside the ancestral home to be completely shocked. The man muttered to himself, "The rumors are true." The jade Wang Lin had left here contained a tiny piece of his G realm. With his cultivation back then, any nascent soul cultivator would immediately die before it. Right now, at the bottom of the Hengyu mountain outside the Qiandao sect, most of Zhao's cultivators were gathered. Their faces were filled with anger as they stared into the distance. They were all staring at a lone person floating in the air. A large portion of this person's body was covered in tattoos. Just by standing there, he emitted a powerful aura. A husky voice came from that person. "This cultivation country is indeed interesting. Do you guys think there is some treasure here that will allow you to reverse the situation?" A white-haired old man wearing a black robe walked out from the Qiandao sect. He stared at the Forsaken Immortal clan member with hatred in his eyes and said, "You can try." The person let out a laugh as his eyes lit up and his aura revealed its truth strength. His tattoos moved until they eventually left his body and formed dragons that flew around him. "Interesting. I wasn't sent here to deal with you lowly cultivators, I was just passing by. However, since you asked, I now want to see what kind of treasure makes you guys so confident." His eyes revealed a look of disdain. As a six-leaf shaman, unless he meets a late-stage soul formation cultivator, no one else is a threat to him. He didn't believe that a late-stage soul formation cultivator would exist in a mere rank 3 cultivation country. With one step, he closed in on the Qiandao sect. The dragons around him all let out roars and flew toward the Qiandao sect. The tattooed dragons moved like lightning. All of the remaining cultivators of Zhao held their breaths, as they looked on and their eyes all revealed a mysterious light. There was a rumor that a native Zhao cultivator reached the soul formation stage here 200 years ago. The rumor said that he had left behind a wood carving and anyone who obtains it can become his direct disciple. The place that the wood carving was kept was surrounded by a piece of his divine sense. If there was no fated person, it wouldn't open up. But if Zhao was facing great calamity, this carving would release a huge power. The moment the dragons closed in, the entire Hengyu mountain shook as a wood carving flew into the sky. The moment the wood carving appeared, the dragons charging forth trembled and the eyes of the man from the Forsaken Immortal clan revealed a mysterious light. So there is a treasure with a hint of a domain in it left behind by a soul formation cultivator. However, this soul formation cultivator's cultivation level is too low, only at the early stage of soul formation. Even if he personally comes, I can still kill him right here, so how could a treasure stop me? After the old man from the Forsaken Immortal clan finished speaking, the mysterious light in his eyes disappeared and they once more filled with disdain. Part 1 end here.